Right, let's have a look at the Yamaha stand, which is always quite interesting because they do so many products. I mean, look, that is just massive. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these up close and personal, but it's bigger than my smart car. It's massive. Might as well just be a boat. Now here's a bike that's going to be very interesting for 2025, isn't it? I don't know, I quite like it. I always like the things that no one else likes. The 9 GT Plus. I think that is going to be a fantastic motorbike. We already know it's got a great engine, so I don't know what's new about it. Great big screen. Oh, looks like it's got electric suspension. Very cool. I like that. Don't know if I'd buy one. What else we've got on the Yamaha stand? Interesting, a lot of clothing, look, which is looking quite smart. Don't know who makes it for them, whether they make it themselves. So the Tracer, which we just looked at, that's just the GT version. And then I think they do even more. Do they do a more basic one? I'm not sure. Well, they definitely do the GT and the GT Plus. Then we're up to the Thunderace 700s. I mean, not much is changing, is it, for 2025 in the looks department of most of these bikes. I think it's just lots of engine upgrades and little sort of micro adjustments to the electronics, which most people don't need. Right, I'm going to jump into these scooters because actually I really want one of these. So that's just a standard TMAX. And this is the TMAX, this grey one. This is the one that I would really like. It's fully loaded. And actually, I used to think it was quite a big bike, but now that I've sort of put it up against some of the other bikes, scooters rather, I don't think it's horrendously big. But for a twist and go, that's the Rolls Royce. The Rolls Royce. Gotta love a T-Max. Right, to the X-Maxes then. So this is a 400, right? 300. So there's nothing shouty about them. They're just really functional. NMAX, this must be, let's have a look. That's a 125. Very interesting front end. This sort of looks like an R1. You know, they've got, so this looks way more sporty. The NMAX 125, NMAX 125 with a different little screen on it. Electric. Now that looks funky. I love the colour. I mean, you look around, there's not a lot of colour going on any of the stands. It's so cool to see some funkiness going on. I'd get it just from the colour. The Neos. Again, back to the scooters, really good round town. E-bikes. I don't think my viewers are going to be watching e-bikes. Now the Yamaha dirt bikes. It's going to be the same thing. This is a 125. Again, the build quality of these things just looks so good. When it looks better than the road bike versions. It's just mechanically engineered so well. I hope that comes across on film. So you've got 125, 250, 250, 450. I mean, this 450 looks really tiny. 125 again over here. 8,700 euros for a 125. Seems mad, doesn't it? Just look at that. It's a 2-stroke. I mean, just look at the quality of it, how it's all engineered and put together. It's just so good. I bet that rips. It's one for my brother. There you go, Barry. Just about get your leg over that. 65. What a piece. What a beach. So what does everyone want to look at? That's the question. What would I want to look at? What would I want to look at? Well, not really racing bikes. Seeing as they've stopped the R1 now and everyone's crying about it. So this is the new R9. Sort of like the front, I don't know, it looks like a bit of a shark. I don't know what to say, it just looks like a Yamaha. Yamalube, I want some Yamalube. It's very difficult for me to get excited about sports bikes, I'm afraid. I like watching them on the telly. See, I think I like this 1998 R1. That big old chunky exhaust pipe on the side. Got beaten to the punch. That's how I remember them. Excellent bikes. So they've got like a bit of a retro thing going on up here. So I know my neighbour would like one of these, or possibly like one of these. This looks a bit special, doesn't it? That looks like it's ready to go on an adventure, doesn't it? The size of them foot pegs. Imagine bashing your knees on them. It's crazy. So back over to something a bit more realistic. The Tracer 7 GT. €10,724. I must admit, I find it quite interesting. Again, see, you've got a lady on this bike, and in England you just don't really see that many women, but in Europe you just see more. So this is the standard Thunderace, the normal thing that you can buy. €13,500. I like it, it's just too big. Too tall for me. That tail tide is horrific. I love the twin tanks. So this lad get on it, see how small he looks on it. He said, yeah, there's a bit of a problem, I can't touch the floor. Right, let's go to the other side of the stand quickly. Whiz through these people. Oh look, there's a beaking there. Don't see many of these out on the road, do you? The MT-01. It's a bit like the Suzuki Beaking, isn't it? Just really rare, you don't see them about. Then the VMAX. It's quite nice to see. I used to love those things. It's just pure power. Look at that beast. All black with a tiny little bit of yellow stitching on the seats. What a weapon. Such a lovely bike.